On this week's episode of Force Motoring, we blow the budget on the Budget YJ build off. Stay tuned. All right, boys, today's a big day. Big. On the Budget YJ. Big. 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 Big day. Budget blowing day. The comment section is going to be on fire in this episode. So head straight to the comment section and spread some hate around there because we love it. So, let's get to it. By the way, guys, this video is brought to you by GenRight Off Road. You can get all your parts there from GenRight Off Road. They're located in California, a US-based company. If you guys need roll cages, fenders, rockers, anything for your YJ, JK, LJ, TJ, CJ, JT, hit them up. Call up my boy Jeff. Say, Jeff, Will at Force Motoring sent me. I need parts for my Jeep. Put it on his tab and send it your way. Anyways, I digress. Let's get into the video. Let me show you what we're doing. So, I know what you're thinking. How on earth is this going to work with the budget? A GenRight roll cage. Now we could have just made one, and I thought about that. I thought about making one like how we made Han Forlos, kind of that fastback style. I actually put up a poll on my Instagram a while back, what kind of cage people prefer, and it was pretty much split down the middle. But then I thought about why a shop does YouTube, and it's to promote our shop and to promote companies we work with. So I hemmed and hawed over it for a while, and I kept going back and forth to the GenRight website looking at stuff, and then one day I noticed that there was a sale on YJ roll cages, and they said BLEM sale. So I said, holy moly, that's a pretty deep discount. If I remember correctly, I think it was right around 1,500 bucks, which is a lot off of a GenRight roll cage. So I call up my boy Jeff. I say, Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
What's going on with this BLEM sale on the roll cages? He said, dude, there might be like a little scratch here and there. We just have too many of them. We're trying to move them. I said, okay, I'll take one. So this all gets back to my budget thing, is you guys can do this if you're smart and you think. So let's go look at the budget one more time. I think we're at 8,700 bucks before this. So you guys can do the math. We're getting real close, but bear with me here. I watch a lot of KC Customs videos. If you guys haven't seen his YouTube channel, very cool dude. He takes like F100s and throws them on old Crown Vics for like $300. He's a maniac. He spray paints everything with friggin' turbo spray paint. Go watch his stuff, it's incredible. So I got to thinking, how could he do it? So anyways, we'll get to that later. But for now, let's start figuring this out because I want to see how this thing will look in there. So also, I know what you're thinking, man, this guy's crazy. Starting a roll cage on the Budget YJ when he has a SEMA truck that's not done yet and it has to leave in 2 days to go to SEMA. He's crazy. He's crazy. And I'm flying out to SEMA in a week. But while we're at SEMA, the budget YJ videos must continue for you guys. So I am gonna go sleepless, sex deprived, food deprived, running on 17 energy drinks just to get this banged out before we go to SEMA, so you guys have the content to watch. And if you guys wanna see more on this, we're doing a little mini series on it. So that's gonna come out sometime midweek. So the YJ ones will still be Friday. The SEMA truck build, Hellcat Gladiator will be sometime midweek. So stay tuned for that. I'm not sure how the whole timeline's gonna work. I'm not Morpheus, but it's gonna be cool. So subscribe if you would, please. And if you would also take a small second of your day to share the video to your other friends who are as deranged and addicted to Jeeps and off-road vehicles as much as you. So do your part to spread this addiction. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing you gotta do is locate all of the plates. So there's some that go behind the seats, some that go out back, and we're gonna get those loosely bolted in. Also, I was looking through the kit, looking for blems. I found one, but one might argue that it's not really a blem, as more of an added bonus. So, I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, but yeah, the boys at GenRight cut out some hearts for me because they love us here at Force Motoring. I know who it was. I know. Shout out to you. I heart you too. So that's a little custom feature that we're getting in our roll cage. We're the only ones, so look out for that. So first thing you want to do is locate these plates. They go in the back. Kind of the curve goes towards the corner there. Make sure you get all your gunk out of there. And wipe these down with acetone, guys. Get all the stuff off of there. So you take the provided GenRight hardware and very loosely place these in. Now these plates are slotted so that it can slide back and forth. So you're just gonna leave it loose for now, and then once you start laying pipe, if you know what I mean, these are keyed. So the pipe will key into here, or tube, if you're in the biz, will key into there, and then you can kind of see where these are gonna eventually land. So you don't wanna tighten them down now, because things are gonna need to kind of get moved around a little bit, so you just kind of leave them loose. So we'll get these ones in, and then the B pillar ones, and I'll show you what to do with the A pillar now. Okay, so obviously you gotta fold your windshield down. So this plate basically lines up with these two top holes here. Now, you need to drill out 2 holes here, okay, for these 2 bolts. So how you do that is take your little instrument here, and basically this plate that GenRight provides sits flush with your metal dash piece. So you know that it's gonna sit flush with that metal dash piece and line up with everything. So you go from the center of the hole to the edge of the dash piece, and that is your distance there. So then you can drill that out, basically mark it on here where your hole needs to go, and drill it out. Now, if you don't have one of these, Tony has another way of doing it, and you can check that out on their YouTube channel on their budget build. But this is how we're gonna do it. This is what I recommend. If you wanna do it his way, go check that out too. It's a lot of, it might be actually harder, but go check it out. Okay, so now that we got those plates in on either side, we need to take these tubes and lay them out, kind of create a map, if you will. So the first 2 tubes we're looking for are the ones that go up and all the way down. Now those come in 2 sections, and then there's a slug in the middle. So to lay these out properly, what you do is you put them on the ground, nice flat ground, put the slug in there, and then just tack them. So that way you have a straight piece. And then you can put it all in as one and go from there. So let's get these laid out. Okay, so once you get all your tubes laid out, you basically want this one here, which is like a 90, okay?
and then you want this one here. Okay, then you need this little sleeve tube, and that's gonna slide in between these. So what I do is I just put like a tack on there, and then we're gonna move this to here, and you can see these little keys that are laser cut in the cage. So that basically, let's see if I can do it one hand here. Sure can. So that basically slides up against this, which gives you room to weld the three pieces together. So you want to lay it out flat on a flat piece of ground like that, and that will ensure that your cage is straight.
So first thing you want to do is grab some acetone and a clean rag. Start wiping down all of these tubes. You want to get all of the mill scale off, get all the gunk from shipping off. Some of you might be better at this than others, if you know what I mean. So this tool right here has got to be the greatest tool ever. This is basically an adapter head for any style 4.5 inch grinder. You can get these on Amazon. They're not very expensive. I want to say they're around 150 bucks, but worth their weight in gold if you're doing any type of fabrication that involves steel tubing. So definitely check one of these out. So you're basically using this to prepare the surface for welding after you've got them all cleaned.
Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to find your piece. You want to double check this part number, make sure it says the right side. So in this case, it says L or left. And then you want to find the tab on it, and you want to find the keyhole for this tab. Okay. And that goes right there. So hopefully, get that to lay down flat. Okay. So there's only kind of one spot that can go. So then you want to just put a quick tack. All right, so now that you've got that B-pillar tacked in place, take your main hoop and you just kind of set it down, line up the keyhole with the key on the B-pillar, and then line up the A key here. Okay. So now we're going to have to unclamp this, and I'm going to get ready to weld. Okay, so you just kind of lightly tack the B-pillar, sorry, the A-pillar in place. The B-pillar is also tacked. I'm leaving this off for now because this Jeep, obviously, as you guys know from watching the other episodes, we gutted this thing. Now these tubs without the cage, even as chintzy as the factory cages, these things are like slinkies. So now what I'm gonna do is get cross members in and loosely put a ratchet strap on, level off the sides, see how everything fits, get everything squared off of that, and then I'll start tacking the rest. I do have the vehicle level on jacks, on those like screw jacks. If I have to adjust the back to bring that up or down or whatever, we'll do that as we go. But getting this cage tacked in properly is kind of the most important part. So just take your time with this, fit stuff, check stuff, get someone else to help you kind
kind of check everything and hold everything, and you should be good. Okay, so once you got your 2 hoops in place, you put a ratchet strap on loose, then you take your first cross member, which goes here. Okay, and you can see how far off we are. So we're going to tighten this up so that it'll hold in place. Now if you have someone with you, it makes it a lot easier.
So working on this YJ series, there's been a lot of talk around the shop and on the internet about, does he frost his tips? These are natural, guys. These are natural, okay? So don't worry about my hair. Worry about the 10K budget, YJ, because that's really what we're all here for. Now, are we going to meet that budget? I don't know. I'm not the producer of this film. I'm just making it, okay? There's somebody behind the scenes calculating. They got one of those green hats. They're doing their thing. We're just gonna try to make the coolest Jeep we can for the least amount of money. You're gonna have to stay tuned, guys. So lock in, subscribe, follow, share, post it, like it, do all the things, okay? Anyways.
I'm the one that started the rumor. Don't say nothing.
Okay guys, so as you can see, it looks like the cage is done, but it's far from done. This is the easy part. I didn't go into a lot of details because honestly, this cage goes together so freaking smoothly. This is way easier than the JKs because you don't have to take as much stuff off. I mean, if you were really driven, you could do this whole thing in a day, no problem. Especially if your Jeep's already stripped down, just no problem whatsoever. Couple things to look out for here. Definitely make sure you have, you guys have seen me use them in a lot of these videos. I'll show you a closer look. The screw jacks, and what you want to do is put them on all kind of corners of the frame and level the frame. So take like a level measurement from here, a level measurement that way, make sure the tub and everything is very level. I would do that before you take the factory roll cage out, because with the factory roll cage out, these tubs are like wet noodles. So with this particular project, and one of the reasons I got this Jeep so cheap is because of all of the rust. So as you've seen in episode 1, we tore this thing completely apart into like basically nothing left. And one of the mistakes we really made was not adding a bunch of kind of supports to hold everything in place. And there's some spots on this that I think are a little tweaked. So you have to kind of make sure your Jeep is solid and straight. So to compensate for that, I've been basically just checking everything as I go and taking my time. The cage goes together in only kind of one way. So the cage is so perfectly square that if you get that square, then your tub will be square. So I've checked all the measurements, they're all the same, everything is dialed on this thing. Okay, so once you've got the roll cage to this step, the next thing you want to do is fully weld where you can. So the tops of the frame, get up on there, fully weld, fully weld, fully weld, fully weld. Just everywhere you can where you feel comfortable welding before you take the whole roll cage out of the Jeep. Then you can put it on the ground, then you can flip it, manipulate it, get it, you know, all fully welded. Then it will go back in again. But you want to get everything that you can fully welded so it stays together. Now, take your time with this. Make sure you're moving around the Jeep, you know, start here, then go over there. You know, don't be just throwing a ton of heat at this thing because you don't want it to tweak at all. So there's that. The other thing I did is, let me see if I can find one right here. So this cage still, this is pretty much all of the tubes that I went through or went and bought. This is like bare bones. There's a couple tubes left. There are these supports that go here, here, they go up in here.
I'm leaving those off until the cage is fully welded, just to be able to access these points better. So that's why those are off. There will be these handles that go right there. I'm gonna save that to the end as well. And then I have a harness bar that's gonna go back here. I didn't go with their harness bar. I'm gonna make kind of my own kind of custom one to save some money. And I'm gonna wait to do that until I have the seats mounted. So that'll be probably the next video. So anyways, I'm gonna get cranking on this and just start welding everywhere I can, and we'll get it out of the Jeep and get it fully welded from there. So stay tuned here. So per usual, I just got more gas at the welding store, and I looked at all the nice piles of wire rolls there, and I said, I'm good. I got wire at the shop. Don't worry about it. Spoiler alert, I ran out of wire. So anyways, this gives me a bit of time to scroll through some comments on the YJ Budget Build-Off series, and I happened to notice one from my good buddy, Matt Brody. Now, I'm not talking about Matt Brody, that you guys all know. I'm talking about Matt Brody, the YJ guy, okay? And his comment was, I bet I could build a better budget YJ than you could. I said, what? You said you could do what? The last video he did, he was installing side marker lights, okay? Guys, this ain't the mall. I'm not even gonna have side markers. So you can count that off my budget right now. So anyways, Matt Brody, if you're out there, I accept your challenge, and I'm gonna raise the stakes a little bit. We're gonna meet at our favorite meeting place, Daytona, Florida, Jeep Beach official. We're gonna find a booth for both of these, or two different booths, and we're gonna have a little ballot box. We're gonna have a little voting contest of who wins this budget build-off. And Tony Pellegrino, if you're out there, I don't even know if you have your budget YJ anymore, or if it was just one big marketing stunt, you bring that thing there too. And we're gonna see who wins. I think I know who it's gonna be though. I mean, come on. You know, whether or not we have a budget left after this video, I don't know. You're gonna have to wait to the end of the video to find out. But Matt Brody, I'll see you in Daytona, my friend. Okay, so we did run out of wire, but the good news is that all of the top pieces are welded. And it happens to be perfect timing because I've tricked our good buddy Han Forlow into coming over by telling him that I had free monkey treats here. So he said he's on his way. So that's perfect timing because this next step of a roll cage build is to pull this out, put it on the ground, and then that way you can flip it and rotate it and spin it and do all the things to weld all the other spots. So that's great because I can't lift this by myself, and he's the perfect man for the job. Thanks, Han.
Okay, so now that you've gotten an ape to help you get the roll cage out of the Jeep, it's time for a welding marathon. So we're gonna hit you with the time lapse. I'm gonna be all up in this, flipping it, dancing around it. So we're gonna get it fully welded. We'll go from there.
So that's pretty much everything welded. There's a couple spots I want to redo. There's one spot where I ran out of gas. We'll have to grind that. But then before you paint or powder coat or whatever you want to do, whenever you're doing a roll cage, really take your time. Get one of those tubing sanders, sand everything, smooth everything out, get rid of all the burrs. So we'll have to go back and do all that stuff and kind of fine tune some things. But we leave for SEMA tomorrow, and I want this video to come out while we're at SEMA. So I got to figure out how to get this back in. And since I don't have Han Forlo anymore, and Lady Rubicon's on the lift right now, I'm going to have to really cowboy up to get this thing in there or get extremely creative. So bear with me here, guys. It could get interesting. It's a little dicey. I didn't film this process because I took a look at my analytics, and most of my audience was between 35 and 45, so I'm assuming you have small children, and I don't want to be held responsible for them trying anything in your garage, so you're welcome. So, ratchet straps to the ceiling. I'm going to see if I can wheel the Jeep under there. I put the camera way over here, so if there's a mishap, at least the camera will survive. Because this Jeep is so cheap that the camera is more expensive. I'm just such a budget financier wizard, as you can tell from the comment section. All right, here we go. Okay, so I know you guys are saying, well, Will, what about the elephant in the room? This is a budget YJ, and you just put a GenRight roll cage on here. I'm gonna get to that. My old lady, my lovely assistant, is currently at the nail salon, but should be back any second. I'm just hoping that she doesn't have my credit card, because that would then further blow the budget. But we're gonna show you how we are still under 10K. So for the meantime, let's get the doors on here, get some B-roll going, get the windshield up, and give you the full look. But so far, what do you guys think? You guys like it? I freaking love it. So let's get the doors on. Okay, boys, so like I said, today we blow the budget on the budget YJ. So the only product we installed today was the roll cage. So last episode we left off, everything on there so far was $8,700. The price of the roll cage, like I said,
I got this as a blend sale, and you saw they added the extra hearts in there for me. So I paid $1,500 for the roll cage. You wanna write that on there?
Yep.
So this gets to my point. Today is November 1st, and a lot of companies have month-long Black Friday sales. So that's a great way to get something like this, or the blend sale when people have, you know, overstock stuff or whatever. So that brings us to $8,700 plus $1,500. That brings us to $10,200. Now the goal was to hit a $10,000 budget on this. Again, my budget and your budget are different, and we are counting the wheels that we did not pay for. So we're at $10,200 right now. So now we're going to talk about how we get back below the budget. And if you guys have ever seen the YouTube channel Casey's Customs, this is where I learned this from. So anyways, like I was saying, so now we have to get down below 10,000 so we can continue on this project, or I just look like a big fat liar on YouTube. So what I did was I kept track of everything I sold from this Jeep when I bought it. So I actually was able to sell the factory axles. That'll be the first one I sold. I sold them for $400, which is incredible because what we found online for these JK axles is actually cheaper than that. The next thing I was able
Hold
to...
on, it's kind of hard to write this way, so. How much?
400? Okay, so the next thing we sold was the suspension.
No judgments.
Okay, the suspension we sold for 200. Then, as you guys remember, we sold the wheels and tires. So if you remember with this thing, they were like a 31. I think it was an American Racing, kind of like black wheel, pretty cool. So a guy with an XJ, actually, I put them up and they were sold within 15 minutes. He came and he bolted them up on his XJ in the driveway here, so that's hilarious. We sold those for $500 because they were in really good shape. And for something like that, they fit perfect. He had like a little 2-inch lift, it fit great. So we actually sold the factory full doors. This had full doors before. I didn't want full doors, so we sold the factory doors. We sold those for $300. Okay, the next thing we sold was the hardtop. This had a hardtop before. We're not going to be running a hardtop, so got rid of that. The next thing we, oh, sorry, we sold the hardtop for $500. The next thing we sold, if you guys can believe it, do you remember the 50-inch curved light bar that this thing came with? So the light bar, and we sold that for $50. So that brings us to a grand total. So if you want to write total down there, of $2,150 in stuff that we sold that came with this Jeep. Okay, so now if we take the $10,200 minus the $2,150, that brings us back down to $8,050. So we're actually below where we were last episode. So that's good. We still got another $1,950 to play with to get this thing running and driving. So stay tuned, next episode. Hopefully we can make that work. We're gonna find out. I don't know. You know?
I have no idea.
We don't know, but we're gonna try our best. We're gonna try our best. So anyways, subscribe. Thank you guys. Everyone seems to be really liking this series. So I leave tomorrow morning for Vegas for SEMA. This is gonna come out Friday.
while I'm there. So I'll try to get some sneak peek behind the scenes type stuff for you. Thank you again for coming
Absolutely.
out. Appreciate you.
Tough work.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. I almost forgot, guys. The next set of mods we are doing to this thing are gonna be 2 videos, and they're gonna be completely free. So 0 cost to me whatsoever. So stay tuned for that, it's gonna be pretty interesting.